06-18, scheduled today, Monday, March 12th, 2018, at 6:30 p.m. Joel, could you read us?
Certainly.
Not the last one. Okay. No problem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Car ton bras c'est porte l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée de plus brillant exploit. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Longfellow, for leading us once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Clerk, are there any addendum or delegation items this evening?
There's no delegations and there's no addendums for committee, but there will be a closed session for council.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to confirm the agenda. Moved by Councillor Doucette, seconded by Councillor Rodner. All those in favor? Opposed? Is carried. Are there any disclosures of interest this evening? There are none. That shall be so noted. I call for a motion for adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting of Committee of the Whole 05-18 held on February 26, 2018. Moved by Councillor Dance, seconded by Councillor Demray. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Move on to determination of items requiring separate discussion. To my right, Councillor Demray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 4, please.
Item 4. Anyone else? Councillor Rudders.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 11, please.
Item 11. Any further? On my left, items requiring separate discussion. There being none, I'd call for a motion to approve those items not requiring separate discussion. Moved by Councillor Butters, second by Councillor Demray. All those in favor? Carried. There are no presentations this evening. There are no delegations. Move on to Mayor's report. Corporal Tyler Crooks. Tomorrow we will be hanging yellow ribbons on the lamppost in front of City Hall, as we have done every year since 2009, when Corporal Tyler Crooks lost his life in Afghanistan. These yellow ribbons symbolize our remembrance of Tyler and his ultimate sacrifice while serving his country. I would ask that everyone stand for a moment of silence as we remember Corporal Tyler Crooks. Thank you. This is March break in Port Colborne. This week is March break for students, and there's a lot happening in Port Colborne. Check out our website for activities at the public library and the Valet and Health and Wellness Center. Also, when you are out driving on the roads, remember to exercise caution and watch for our children. Healthy Kids Community Challenge. The Healthy Kids Community Challenge is now getting ready to implement theme 4, Power Off and Play, by working to encourage children and families to build a balanced day that is not filled with screen time. In Niagara, we are very excited to once again be taking a community-led approach by working in partnership with each municipality through our local public libraries. Watch out for upcoming programming at the Port Colborne Public Library. City budget. City Council has held 2 budget meetings within the past week, with another one scheduled for Wednesday, March 14th at 5:30 p.m. These meetings were broadcast live by WeStream, so if you missed one, you can watch it on YouTube. There has been a very positive response to this initiative. Niagara Central Dorothy Rungling Airport. Last week, the CAO and I met with mayors and CAOs of Pelham, Welland, and Wainfleet, as well as members of the Niagara Central Dorothy Rungling Airport Board of Directors, to work on a joint plan for operational services for the airport and future discussions with the Niagara region. I will keep you abreast of these as these plans develop. Economic Development Officer. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our new Economic Development Officer, Julianne Douglas. Julian, could you just stand up and wave to the crowd? Julian comes to us from Sudbury, and we look forward to our interactions with our business community, and certainly your presence is very much sought after. We thank you for being here. 2018 election. In response to numerous inquiries from citizens in the community asking if I will be seeking re-election to the office of mayor, I feel that I have a responsibility to respond to these inquiries at this time. Notwithstanding that nominations cannot be filed before May 1st, 2018, I wish to confirm that I will not be seeking re-election. I've enjoyed my term as mayor and wish to thank the people who I have worked with here at City Hall and at the region. I am most appreciative of the support of the residents of Port Colborne who gave me this opportunity. It has been an honor to serve you. I also wish to thank my wife and family for standing with me during the election campaign and during my term of office. That is my report. Mr. Berg is not here for the Regional Councilor's report. Then we move on to councilors' items. Are there any councilors who have issues and responsibilities, inquiries? Councilor Demery, then Councilor Main, Councilor Daniels, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Demery.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just give a little background. I have a request to make, but some background. In 1997, 1998, discussions regarding how to approach the Port Colborne contamination issue began in Toronto. In the year 2000, the first soil test results were released to the public. 2007, an AMIC site-specific risk assessment report on a west side location states nickel concentrations as well as other metals as a result of historic atmospheric deposition from the Inco facility may be present at this site. So this is 2007 from 1997 already, so we're 10 years into it. In 2010, the Public Liaison Committee, the PLC, released its final report. The class action lawsuit is dismissed, and the Ministry of the Environment on July 8th of that year began the review of all the reports under the CBRA. In 2013, in a mayor's report, there was discussion about the fee disputes. The issues were raised about fee disputes. In 2014, Council Report 2014-11 is circulated for information regarding outstanding fee disputes again. Here we are, 2018. It's more than 20 years since the city, Inco, and the Ministry of the Environment began their talks leading to the creation of this community-based risk assessment, which at the time, in 2010 in the Italian Hall, in the year 2000 in the Italian Hall, I was one of the people, about probably 10 people were standing talking to the Ministry of the Environment, and I was one of the people who was told that within 2 years this would be over and done. That was in the year 2000. So we have, again, 2018, 8 years since all the reports have been completed. We still have no resolution to the problem at all. Local realtors call me quite often, and I've just had another call this week, telling me that they have difficulties selling properties, getting mortgages in place, and sometimes there are other reasons. There really are, but mostly the reason turns out to be that appraisal companies from outside of the area are in charge of coming in and looking at the properties and making an assessment for the mortgages, and they put the label contamination on their reports. Once that's there, there is no mortgage available. It's just as simple as that. So, and many times it is the appraisal company that's at fault. INCO and now Valet has provided letters to the property owners saying that if at the end of all of this there is any liability, any problem coming out of that, they will take care of it. But that is no assurance to a mortgage company, and they're not accepting that in order to get mortgages. So we're still in that place. This is still an area that has a big cloud over it, and there's no reason for this 20 years down the line. There just is no reason for it. We're at a place now where I don't think another report is any answer at all. I really have not seen any good results coming out of letters written to anyone. So I do believe that at this point there is only one body that has the ability to change this for the better, and that is the Ministry of the Environment. It all lies with them now. And I do believe that at this point a letter to them will do no good. I think that possibly there are two ward councillors, Councillor Doucette and I, maybe you, Mr. Mayor, possibly you, CAO Louis, would be able to set up a meeting with the Minister of Environment and see what we can do to move this forward. This has to come to an end. It's just absolutely unacceptable that 20 years needs to be taken to deal with an issue like this. So that's what I'm requesting, is that we put forward a request to have that meeting take place. There is an OSIM conference in Niagara Falls. Likely the ministers will be there, some of them at least. Maybe we could set something up there or go to Toronto. I'm willing to do whatever is needed. We need to end this year. So that's what I'm asking.
Thank you, Councillor Debray. CEO Louis and I meet with INCO on a roughly quarterly basis, and this subject comes up at literally every meeting. And we advise them that we're happy to go to the Ministry of Environment to put pressure on this issue. They say, not yet. Okay, we take our lead from them, and I'm questioning whether we should or could jump in ahead of them. I think it's better that we go with them to solicit the arguments, the position that you have advanced. And I think everyone at this table would agree with you. That's way overdue. And but again, we want to be in concert with Valet on this issue and take our lead from them. Well, Mr. CEO Louis, do you have anything further to add?
I guess, sure, through your worship to Councillor Desmarais, maybe based on what the mayor said, that the Valet themselves have asked us to sort of stand off to the side and wait for them to do something first. The mayor's right, we have discussed this a number of times. We had a very productive meeting, albeit probably more than a year and a half ago, and still no progress, with the Niagara Regional Public Health Ministry officials from the local office and Valet. Maybe a first step before meeting the ministry as a Port Colborne delegation is to have the ward councillors meet with the management at Valet, along with the mayor and CAO, who is already meeting with them from time to time, just to hear it straight maybe from the horse's mouth, and then make a determination on the best way to proceed with a political appeal to the ministry, whether it's alongside or instead of Valet staff. That's my 2 cents.
Councillor Desmarais, you're anxious to jump in. Go ahead.
I most certainly am. Okay, first of all, I'm not at all opposed to working alongside with Valet to get this accomplished. That is not the problem. What I do have a problem with is waiting any more. Now, neither of you have really been intimately involved with this process from the beginning. I have. Many hours of my life have been spent on that side of council chambers, being subject to some of the things that went on through the PLC meetings. I studied lots of reports. It was quite a learning curve, and got a great knowledge of what really went on here. I can tell you this, what you're saying here tonight about waiting and letting Valet take the lead and doing all, that's how we got here. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not willing to listen to any more of, let's just wait and take the lead. You just said yourself, it's been over a year. By letting them take the lead, it's enough. I really think we're at a place where a foot has to come down and we have to take a stand and make some very firm commitment to this community and not any longer let them sit adrift while other people decide what's going to be best for them. Because I think it's time to put what's best for that community in place. That's where I'm at.
Thank you for your comments, Councillor. We will contact Valet tomorrow to set up that meeting and move on from there. More questions, Councillor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I believe that a chunk of our city is being held ransom and has been held ransom for quite a while, especially with the fact that the Ministry of the Environment clearly indicated to us, and as just like Councillor Desmarais, I've been involved since the beginning, when it first started, all the way through. And we kept being told it was going to take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We're now into 20 years. And that area is being held in a form of ransom to everyone else that wants to invest in that area because of exactly what Councillor Desmarais has indicated. We as a city can't continue to function that way. We have to find a way to make it come to a head. Now, I'm more than willing to meet with INCO, more than willing to meet with other people, but I'm looking at INCO to tell me that they are prepared to find a way to make it come to an end this year. There has to be some way of doing that. And I want to see what they have to say. I want to hear what they have to say. But at the same time, waiting for them and the ministry to come to a decision, that time is at an end. That time is at an end, after all I'm concerned. And that time is at an end for that chunk of the city. And we as representatives of the city should be prepared to take a stand on that, and a major stand on that. And I'm prepared to try to do that in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what the best way to do it is, but we need to do it. We need to take a stand and say enough is enough. And that's where this hopefully will lead to.
Thank you, Councillor Doucette. Are there any further comments or inquiries on any other issue? Yes, Mr. Danch.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to direct mine towards Ashley. Got a couple answers there, but I want to get them out. We've got a leaky faucet in the YMCA change room for the family room. It's been leaking for, let's not say days or weeks, let's say months. This person would like to get it looked after. From what I understand, that's not our responsibility on a maintenance issue, but who's going to fix it? Because everybody's paying for the water that goes through the faucet. So I just wonder if we can get some direction towards the Y and their maintenance staff, and maybe see if it's as simple as maybe a cartridge or something like that that could solve the problem.
Ms. Gregg.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Danch. Yes, the maintenance at the YMCA side of the Health and Wellness Center would fall under the responsibility of the YMCA. However, I have brought this matter to the attention of staff, and we will be following up with them to make sure that the issue is addressed.
Thank you.
And just once more, I want to get this out. You guys probably don't know this, but I'm quite the athlete. I play hockey every Friday night. I get a regular shift if the guys don't show up. One thing I've been trying to get in our arena is some hooks for the change rooms. 5 years of 13 guys picking on me on a regular basis because we got nowhere to hang a towel. This isn't just in the rink 2 side, this is the whole arena. And I know Ashley's going to come up with a great reason here, and she's going to tell me that something's going to happen sooner than later. Can you tell me that, please?
Ms. Gregg.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Danch. Yes, I've been working with staff on getting a response to your inquiry. So I was working with the supervisor of parks today, and he's informed me that engineering department is going to be installing those hooks shortly. They've just been procured.
And that's good to know, because we've got about 6 weeks left in our season, and before we throw in the towel, we'd like to have somewhere to hang up our towel. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Danch. Councillor Bodnar, did you have your hand up, sir?
Yes, I was just going to say too, we don't know somebody that has a hardware store and some 4-inch screws. We could have took care of this a long time ago, but I'll work on that if that doesn't happen. Just because something happened tonight when we were coming in. There was a lady there that had gotten off a bus, and she thought, I think, that there was another bus she could catch to where she was going to, and she couldn't. She asked me if I could call her a cab. Well, looking around, I could see no phone numbers for taxi cabs. Can we not put something like that in our lobby just because we have a bus dropping people off? Actually, the chief was good enough to, he was there at the same time, and I asked him if he could, if he knew the number, and we got her one. But, it just would seem kind of reasonable. We might have a cab at the end of a bus route. So if we could get those phone numbers of our local cabs in there, I think that may help. Thank you.
Mr. Louie, can you comment on this issue?
Well, through your worship to Councillor Bonner, I guess I'll take that under advisement and work on some kind of a solution or implementing maybe some wayfinding signs and something that will greet people when they get off the bus and help them to get, if that's not the completion of the trip, help them get the rest of the way. So.
Any further inquiries or comments? Councillor Main.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few, not too many of them are derogatory, but when I go to a hockey game or a baseball game, I always buy a program and see who the players are for the night, for the evening. We've got quite a bit of new staff coming and going in the city of Port Colborne, and I'm getting to the point, and I live here my whole life. There's a few people I don't know, and I would think that the council maybe should have a meet and greet at some point in the next month or so, so we get to know, the person we're talking to as a girl, right? I think it would be a great thing to do. Even if it's just a program with a baseball picture on it, I don't really care, but I'd like to know the people who are working for us. I think it would be a good arrangement.
Mr. Louie.
Sure, as your worship to Councillor Main, we know that there have been some changes. New staff, new positions that were created that existing staff have moved into, external recruitment, internal promotions, changes in phone numbers, changes in email addresses, and it's been a little bit hard to keep track for those scoring at home. What we intend to do, this Thursday is the third Thursday of the month, and I think it is, and because the first was a Thursday. On the third Thursday of the month, we publish the Deckhands Report, which is an internal newsletter that goes to staff and council, and we are going to highlight those changes, those new locations if a person's physically moved, new extensions and new phone numbers if a person has different contact information, and names, obviously, for those who are new to the organization internally. We also know that if it's a problem for council, it's a problem for the public. So we're also going to make sure that the city's website is updated. It's a little bit tricky because each department handles their own sort of section or slice of the website, if you will. So we're trying to get it back to the department level to make sure phone numbers, extensions, and email addresses are up to date. But so that's going to be step 2. But the first step is rolling out number 1, which is the newsletter. And I suppose the same as we have our economic development officer today, we can get some of the people who are in the more senior positions out to a council meeting or a budget meeting so that council has a chance to meet them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Louie. Mr. Main, your next point.
Yes, I was quite pleased with the job that was done on the Eagle Marsh Drain. I was very happy to see it get done. It took a lot of pressure off the people who live in the floodplain through no fault of their own, I guess. And there's always a worry. I've talked to a few people whose sump pumps have been running pretty good since those stringers are getting full of water. But the tender that we had, or the company we had, did an excellent job. And I think it's about time we recognize people that do jobs like that for the city. And it looked good. It looked clean. I know there was some issues with the fellow who owns the property on the west side of the ditch. It was very, I thought, was very rude, apparently, from what I understood and what I heard. We should have to deal with that as a council, but I just wanted to comment the staff. It was very good and very, very quick response, as well as the I don't know, called the storm drain in front of Salvation Army. That had collapsed again. and it was down, at least in my opinion anyway. I think that it was probably down another 6 inches. And somebody come and just patched with a little bit of coal patch right before the last storm. But they did come in the first part of the week and fixed it up, so it's at least safe to get out of your car. I appreciate that very much. Now, I think it affects one parking spot that in front of the brick wall in Salvation Army, but I hope that gets repaired as soon as the weather breaks, so it looks a little bit better and a little bit decent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Main. Is that your final point, sir?
Yes, fair enough.
Okay. Any other councilors? Councilor Doucette? Councilor Bodnar?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. If any of you have been following the Paralympics, they're doing very well. The sledge hockey guys that were here that put on an exhibition game for us have not lost one game. Matter of fact, they've won 17-0, 10-0, and 8-0 today. Doing very well. I watched all their games. And I don't know if there's a way for us to get a hold of them and say, keep it up, guys. But I think that the fact that they were here, the fact that they've put on a good exhibition, the fact that they practiced here, we should be finding a way to get a hold of them in Pyeongchang and find a way to say, keep it going, guys. We're watching, and keep it up. I think that would just encourage them. I'm sure there's a way of doing it, but I thought maybe that would be something we should do as a city of Port Colborne since they were here.
Thank you for your suggestion. We'll delegate or designate Nancy Giles, Mr. Louis C. Assistant, and myself to scramble that down to how you do it.
Good. I'd appreciate that very much. That's, I think it's necessary. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had the great chili cook-off at Shirkston last night. Councillor Main was there, Councillor Butters. She actually, would your chili come in second place? Yes, yes, yes. I think I'm still feeling the effects of that, but not to belabor that point. Anyways, just wanted to say there was about 70 to 80 people there. It was packed. We came in and had a hard time finding a seat. Anyways, people that did it, they did a fabulous job. It was really good. And if you get a chance, that's a yearly thing. So when you see it listed, come on out. I think there was 8 different chilies to sample last night. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Shirkston's an active little community center, and thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Mr. Bodnar.
Just something that would kind of go really nice with that. I don't know if we could ever have a craft beer sampling with the chili. That would help the chili go down. But, you know, I know we don't have a liquor permit there yet, but I'm sure we could work on that. So, thanks.
Any further inquiries? There being none, I'd ask members of staff if there are any responses to previous council inquiries. Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Hanson. Wasn't sure who I should call you.
The request with regards to Pleasant Beach, there was an inquiry at last council meeting on requesting an update for the meeting for tonight, and I have received information from the region with regards to the garbage truck and access to that. Engineering and I have a meeting on Wednesday to finalize that, and I should have a report to the next council meeting with regards to any changes that are required with regards to parking and no parking or angle parking in that area at the end of Pleasant Beach Road.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the people will be very much interested in your comments and your report, as will members of council. Okay, it's Councillor Bodnar one more time. Go ahead.
Thank you. Just because Sherry was good enough to bring that report forward, how are we with the actual, and it might not be her department, but I see Chris sitting there. Chris, do you know where we're at as far as the roof that was going to be put on? I mean, when are we able to activate this this thing and get the information out to the public around there?
To you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Bodnar. Those dollars and cents are in the capital budget for Wednesday, and if you approve that, then we will move forward with those initiatives.
Thank you. Any other comment? Okay, then, there being none, we'll move on to Councilor's items. Consideration of items requiring separate discussion. First one is Councilor Desmarais. That's item number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Memorandum from Karen Walsh, Executive Administrative Assistant to the Director of Community and Economic Development, Active Transportation Advisory Committee, motion regarding four-way stop sign at Kalali East and Elizabeth Street.
Is there a seconder for that recommendation? Councilor Doucette. Discussion. Councilor Doucette.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I've discussed this with the clerk, and there's a procedure we need to follow, but I do not want to accept this as received for information. I want to act on the motion, and I believe that Councillor Desmarais wants to do the same thing. But to be able to do so, we need to waive the procedural bylaw to be able to move on, and the first thing we have to do is that. Otherwise, there's no value in doing anything else. So that I'm putting it on the floor, a motion on the floor right now that we waive procedural bylaw to reconsider this all over again.
I'm not going to second it.
Okay.
Somebody seconds to see whether it gets on.
Councilor Desmarais. Okay, Councilor Rodney.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, this is, we can discuss.
Oh.
Oh.
Our new clerk has said to advise me that we don't have any discussion.
I thought I liked her too. But
Councilor Elliott, do you have a point of order?
Yes, a point of order, Mr.
It's
Mayor.
not discussion on this issue.
It's not a discussion on the issue, it's a point of order.
Okay.
Can somebody ask for a waiving of the procedural bylaw if they were in the minority on the vote to reconsider this issue the second time around?
No, maybe not.
Could I ask our clerk to fill us in explanation-wise? Thank you.
Through the mayor, yes, at any time a councillor can ask to waive the rules. If the rules are waived, then a reconsideration would come forward. That would need to be someone who voted in the majority, and it would require a 2/3 vote at that time.
You're fine, Mr. Elliott? Any further? Nothing. Okay, let's perhaps call for the vote.
Waiving of the bylaw.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Wow.
That's
So,
forget
forget it.
That fails.
Okay.
You still have the floor, Councilor. Doucette?
If the waiving is not proceeded, there's no value in moving on with anything in this case, and we just receive for information, and it'll have to be dealt with at another council session, I gather, because that seems to be where we're at right now.
Okay, Councilor Desmarais.
It's the citizens of that area, by the way, that are going to be suffering for it. But
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, it's quite discouraging that it went this way, but we are going to be receiving it for information, I would hope. In any case, just to elaborate on what's going on here, Active Transportation Committee members did go out and take a look at the area and assess what happens there and recognize the need under Active Transportation mandate to have a four-way stop in that particular intersection, which just adds more weight to the argument that we have presented oftentimes from the community and from the councillors that we do need to have that stop. I don't know how we can get this in front of council again in a way that can allow a vote, because if we're, just going to automatically say, nope, we're not waiving a bylaw to be able to hear the argument, then what do? How do we do that? Maybe the clerk could answer this. How do we get this in front of council?
Sorry, through your worship, I don't want to cut the clerk's grass. That wasn't my plan. I was going to speak to something else, but if you don't mind, it can be considered at a different, it can be considered in the new term of council.
Okay.
Absolutely. What I think I can do, because this can't, the stop sign, the four-way stop is not warranted. We know that from past staff discussion based on traffic volumes. If there are safety concerns, I can maybe work with bylaw, with the crossing guards who are there during school days and with operations to see if there's something we can do other than stop signs to address safety concerns such as painting, the piano keys that are there on the ground for the crosswalk, sight lines, and see if there's something we can do before the nice weather comes to at least address in the interim period some safety concerns. Maybe there isn't, but maybe there is.
And hopefully we can at least have that done before the next term of council, and then we'll see what we can do then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Louie. Moving on, item number 11. Wait.
Oh, I need to vote to receive the original main motion.
All those in favor of receiving the main motion? Is there information yet? Those hands again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on, the motion carries. Moving on to number 11. Mrs. Butters, that was you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry regarding response to City of Port Colborne's resolution regarding the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority.
Seconder for the recommendation, Councillor Desmarais. Discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Butters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We got a letter back from the minister, and I guess it was the typical, I don't know, non-answer answer. I don't know what else to call it. The only kind of little glimmer of hope that I saw in there was the fact that she did reference that we were trying to make the authority and promote more transparency in the MPCA. So I'll take that as a little glimmer of hope. So what my intent is because the letter is as it is, that I'll be moving forward with an additional motion, which probably will be more towards the end of the month. So I'm not giving notice tonight, but certainly because of this letter, the next motion will come forward in a timely fashion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Further discussion? There being none, call for the vote. All those in favor of receiving this for information, move. Select. Again, in favor, please. Again. Carried. That are all the items for consideration. And we have received your notice of motion, so that's good. At this time? Oh,
Not tonight.
okay. At this time, I'd like to call for adjournment of this meeting. Moved by Councillor Doucette, seconded by Councillor Bodner. All those in favor? Carried. I'd like to move on to City of Port Colborne regular meeting of council, scheduled today, Monday, March 12th, following the committee of the whole meeting. Call that meeting to order. Are there any addendum items, Madam Clerk?
Yes, there is. There is one item. It is a closed report, planning and development memo regarding the potential sale of city-owned land.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to confirm the agenda, please. Moved by Councillor Bodner, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All those in favor? Opposed? You're opposed, Councilor Doucette? All right, all those in favor again, please. 1, 2. Okay, opposed, if any? No one opposed. Are there any disclosures of interest? There being none, it shall be so indicated. I call for a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council 04-18 held on February 28, 2018. Moved by Councilor Demray, seconded by Councilor Danch. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there approval of items not requiring, or determination of items requiring separate discussion? There being none, then I call for approval of items requiring separate discussion. Moved by Councilor Bodnar, seconded by Councilor Elliott. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any proclamations this evening, Madam Clerk?
No, there's not.
Next is minutes of board, commissions, and committees. We have the minutes of the Grant Policy Committee meeting of July 26, 2017, and the minutes of the Colborne Historical and Marine Museum Board Management meeting of January 16, 2018, and their 2017 annual report. I call for a motion to accept those minutes. Moved by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Demray. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Consideration of bylaws. Madam Clerk, could you read those bylaws out? We'll consider those in bulk if it's okay with council. Madam Clerk.
Bylaw 6558-13-18 being a bylaw to establish fees and charges for various services and to repeal and or amend various bylaws. Bylaw 6559-14-18 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 6366-46-16 being a bylaw to authorize entering into a subdivision agreement with Lester Schultz Limited, Westward Estates Phase 2 with a revised grade control plan. Bylaw 6560-15-18 being a bylaw to authorize entering into a development agreement with Joseph Moore regarding 2731 Vimy Ridge Road. Bylaw 6561-16-18 being a bylaw to confirm appointments of various agencies, boards, and committees. And bylaw 6562-17-18 being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of council of the corporation of the city of Port Colborne at its regular meeting of March 12, 2018.
Any discussion on these bylaws? There being none, call for question for those in favor. Moved by Councilor Doucette, seconded by Councilor Butters. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. There being no further business before council, except for a motion to go into closed session. Move that council do not proceed in closed session in order to address the following matters. Planning and Development Memo dated March 9, 2018 regarding the potential sale of city-owned land pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, subsection 2392C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Someone make that motion? Moved by Councilor Butter, seconded by Councilor May. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. We shall now move into closed session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this evening and for participating in the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Cogeco.